Welcome to Understand. I'm Jordan from SciTools. If you've ever opened a large codebase and thought, I know the answer is in here somewhere, I just don't know where to start, you're not alone. Graphs are one of the most powerful ways to understand structure and dependencies, but only if they're fast, interactive, and meaningful. In this video, we're going to explore the enhanced graphing experience in Understand 7.1. Specifically, we'll look at two major upgrades that make visual code exploration far more efficient. One, interactive node previews with AI summaries, and two, the enhanced graph customization panel, which gives you much finer control over what you see and what you don't. By the end of this video, you'll be able to see how these features work together to help you move from thinking, what is this entity doing, to, okay, I understand this entity's role and how it fits into the broader codebase. Let's start with interactive node previews. Traditionally, when you're working in a graph, like a call graph or a dependency graph, you end up bouncing back and forth between the visualization and the source code just to answer basic questions. What does this function do? Where is it defined? Who uses it? In Understand 7.1, that context comes directly to you. When you select any node, a preview panel appears, typically at the bottom of the screen, but you can move it. This panel gives you immediate insight into the selected entity without breaking your flow. Here's what you'll see. A relevant code snippet so you can quickly understand structure and intent. In this case, we're taken to main's definition. An AI-generated summary which explains what the entity does in plain technical language. And key details from the information browser if you select the radio button for the information browser here, which will give you the entity's full name and type, important metrics like size or complexity. It will also give you key references in a flat list, and things like callers and callees if you're looking at a function. So for example, we have this call graph for the main function in CMake, and you're reviewing it and you want to click on a function called doInstall. Instead of having to guess or open the file that doInstall is defined in, you immediately see the function's signature, a few important lines of code, an AI summary, and its key information from the information browser. This is especially powerful when you're exploring unfamiliar code, reviewing legacy systems, or onboarding new team members. This helps you stay in the visual context, but you're no longer missing the details. Now, let's talk about what really unlocks the value of large graphs: customization. The enhanced graph customization panel on the right side here in Understand 7.1 moves beyond basic styling and gives you precise control over what appears in your graph and how it's presented. This panel adapts based on the type of graph you're viewing, and it updates the visualization in real time as you make changes. You can select nodes as well as edges and highlight them instantly. This is great when you want to draw attention to a particular module, class, or call chain without losing the surrounding context. Large graphs can get noisy fast. So let's say we have this node parse and we want to highlight the path to it. You can go over to this highlighting section and we'll just select highlight path to node. Now you can see the edges are highlighted for all paths that work their way from main to parse. With the visibility controls, you can hide nodes and edges based on criteria or isolate a subgraph connected to a specific set of entities. This lets you declutter the view and focus only on what matters for your current analysis. So we have these paths highlighted to parse, but what we can also do under the highlighting section is hide any nodes in this graph that had no highlighted edges. So if we select that, now we have a trimmed down view of the paths from main to parse. So let's go back real quick. You can also control what information appears inside the nodes themselves. You might choose to display annotations. You might choose to display comments associated with any of these nodes. You can also select how the name is displayed. So you can select, we have short name by default, but we can also give these nodes their long names or none. And we can also change the file name to appear in these nodes as well to see where these functions are defined. So if we put it to relative, we will see the relative file name. This flexibility helps you balance readability versus detail depending on the audience or the task. So for instance, if we wanted to decrease the level the depth level to 1, and then we wanted to turn on comments, and we also wanted to display parameters. Now we have a whole new graph. Another powerful feature is filtering by entity kind. For example, in a call graph, you can do things like allow global objects to be seen or hide unresolved entities. So if we go back to a larger graph, let's turn off comments again. If we enable global objects, we'll see that global objects now appear as their own node type. And we also want to see unresolved objects. Let's do that, and now we see those as their own node type as well with the dotted outlines. This type of thing can be particularly useful if you're trying to observe system behavior at a higher level. And edges can also carry meaning. You can display labels that describe the relationship, such as call types or dependency kinds, and control how much hierarchy is shown. So we'll do that under the edges section here. If we enable edge labels, we'll actually see how many calls are made to each node. And at the bottom of the customization panel, we can also control the display level to zoom in on immediate relationships or step back to see deeper chains. So if we increase the level to 4, you can see this graph gets massive. Here's where the story comes together. So imagine you're investigating a performance issue in a large module. You generate this call graph. You click through key functions using node previews to understand behavior. And then you progressively decide to highlight paths and hide irrelevant entities and highlight only the call paths that matter to you. You're no longer overwhelmed by the size of the graph. You're guiding it, shaping it to answer specific questions, and because changes apply live, you can experiment freely. If a change takes longer to process, Understand lets you keep working and notifies you when the updated graph is ready. In short, Understand 7.1's enhanced graphing features are all about reducing friction. Interactive node previews keep you in context. AI summaries accelerate comprehension, and the enhanced graph customization panel gives you the control needed to turn complex systems into clear, actionable visuals. So whether you're reverse engineering legacy code, onboarding new developers, or analyzing architectures at scale, these tools help you move faster and with more confidence. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see these features in action, open up a graph in Understand 7.1 and just start exploring. You might be surprised how much clarity a well-tuned visualization can provide. To learn more about graphs or anything else in Understand, visit support.sitools.com.